Hey, I'm Brandon with Network World. We're here with William Fellows from 451 Research. I want to talk to you about the overall cloud computing market. This conference has 32,000 people here. That means that the cloud is mainstream now, right?
It does. So enterprise adoption of cloud is a fact, right? And there are now more organizations using cloud than not using cloud. And that was not the case 5 years ago when this convention started and Amazon was really struggling to bring itself into view. And here we have the event now, which is a juggernaut. In fact, they have a juggernaut over there, right?
Right. Even with all that adoption of cloud, it still seems like some organizations are wary of using it for certain things. What's your take on sort of where we are in terms of enterprise comfortability with using the cloud?
So I guess security is usually top of anyone's concerns, but increasingly it's not about the security of the public cloud, but it's the security concerned with data protection. So moving data between on-premise environments and between cloud environments principally is the Dropbox problem writ large. And that's got as much to do with the organizations and the culture of companies as it has to do with technology per se. It's more about people and ensuring against things that go wrong with them rather than the technology any longer.
Yeah,
right.
The cloud is secure if you architect it in the right way to be secure, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So if you take advantage of availability zones and replication and so on, then you're not going to run into so many problems, and if you don't, for sure.
Right. Where would you say Amazon is in terms of the broader market? Seen as the leader of the cloud computing market, but they got some companies on their heels. Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. Where do you see the dynamics of the cloud market right now?
So, if we used to think about Amazon as being Coke and there being no Pepsi in the market, well now there are some real interesting colas, let's say, right? So Microsoft, IBM, Google, Verizon, Rackspace, and so on, are now, material, assets in their own right. But, if we think about how much headroom Amazon has in the market at the moment, with a trailing 12-month revenue of $13 billion, if you add up the revenue of all of the other 203 infrastructure as a service companies that we follow in our research, it doesn't equal the amount of revenue that Amazon is doing, just to put it into context. But we also should have a sanity and reality check, because $13 billion is not that big in terms of the overall market. In fact, there are organizations on this planet which have IT budget planning cycles which are at least as big as that. And remember, this is not a zero-sum game. Amazon made this market up, right? So it's not cannibalizing other things. So if you think about all of the other managed and dedicated hosting markets, and you add those up, those are still 8 or 9 times bigger than the entire IaaS market, and they're still growing, right? Perhaps not as fast as Amazon, but they're still growing nonetheless.
Right, but the cloud market has a lot of headroom. 55% year-over-year growth for Amazon revenue-wise.
It was 85% last year, so we'll see what happens going forwards, right?
One thing I've been interested to see in this conference is the talk of hybrid. Amazon didn't seem to really acknowledge hybrid cloud computing in the past. They are more so this year though, right?
So I would say that Amazon has updated its messaging and positioning when it comes to the hybrid model, right? So they've realized that all of their customers are going to be running some kind of hybrid environment. In the enterprise, they're always going to have some kind of on-premise, at least for the medium term. Amazon's belief is that over time, those infrastructure applications and so on services will move into the cloud, but there will be other things which don't move into the cloud. IoT, edge devices, things that are remotely connected, autonomous events and so on. So it will be a new kind of hybrid environment where those hybrid assets and entities are those things rather than data centers. And of course, they've obviously embraced VMware in a fairly fundamental way. And I think that's only natural in the evolution, of this business and this industry, that they would want to pick up the VMware base along the way. I mean, there's a question mark over where VMware goes from here, but we'll leave that to one side.
Right, and you wonder, is Amazon talking more about hybrid because probably their chief competitor, Microsoft, hybrid is a core part of their cloud platform, right?
So let's be careful what we're talking about, hybrid IT or hybrid cloud. Okay, so if we're talking about multiple clouds, then that is not in Amazon's worldview, and it firmly believes that people are not going to be using multiple clouds. I think our research and everyone else's clearly shows that actually what I've been finding is that Amazon plus one is falling into place as an operating principle for CIOs, which means don't use only one public cloud. The kind of de facto is AWS plus one, but even if only for fiduciary responsibility, it's now becoming clear that using different services to meet different needs is ultimately going to be the way to achieve optimal utilization, cost efficiency, and so on and so forth.
Cool. Well, listen, really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, and we'll see what the cloud has to offer in the future.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.